So like I was saying, I was thinking about just like a wooden dowel coming straight down from this section of tube. It gives me a good mounting surface. And actually, I might even do that. I mean, just, I don't know. I just don't feel like making anything fancy for the grip, and I don't feel like using, 3D for the grip. Not because 3D's, bad for grips. It's just bad for structural. And if I'm picking up the gun by the grip or whatever, the thing's probably, 12 pounds at this point. I don't want to be picking it up with a 3D part. So we'll see. I'll figure that out tomorrow. But the biggest thing is putting, making a CNC bracket that just goes over here and pins it downward. What else? I think that'll be about it. The forward hand grip. I'm going to put some, some rubber bushings. You see all these bolts coming down? There's a bunch for the linkage. I'll make some little nylon or Delrin bushings that just press fit onto all those screws. D-bar, whatever sharp edges I can get to. Probably paint it, the normal routine. But the biggest thing is, or the most exciting part is the chronograph with the 22-inch barrel. Going up 12 inches in barrel length should be a substantial gain. I'm guessing I'm going to get in the 750 range, maybe 800. So I don't know what that works out to. Somewhere in the 250 foot-pound range. And I'm sure if I sat around dialing it in for a longer period of time, I could even do better than that. But yeah, it's mostly cosmetic stuff in a grip now. And then I was thinking, well, if I could do this again, how might I do it differently? I mean, I love the linkage. It's so luxurious because you just don't realize how much force is in that spring when you're using, the mechanical advantage. And it's split both ways. Someone said to me, well, they mentioned something about 2-to-1 or 4-to-1, mechanical advantage. Well, if you think about it this way, if I had a regular side lever, I can only engage the muscles in really my one hand to charge a regular side lever. With this, I can engage the muscles in both my hands. So even though it's 2-to-1 mechanically, it's almost like 4-to-1. And I incorporated some safety stuff too. I don't know if I can show that. I haven't really been. This thing has actually injured me more than any other build. I smashed my finger the other day doing something with the fill port. I don't know. Maybe I just was in a fog and had the socket adjusted backwards, where it was for reversing. Anyway, I think I made a turn in the wrong direction, and the fill port, which was in a long extension socket, gave way. Not much, there was no energy. I mean, there was energy, but there wasn't much pressure. There was maybe 80 or 90 psi, whatever it was left in the thing. But it smacked my finger, my pointer finger, right into the, let me see if I can get that, right there. It was all swollen for like a day, but it smacked my finger right into the drill chuck on the mill. So that was unpleasant. And then when I was making the back of the poppet, I was just grinding it smooth after cutting it, just rounding off the edges, and a piece of hot stainless. Even though I always have eyes and ears on, a piece of hot stainless hit me in the lip. That wasn't fun. And then yesterday, I had the piston in the lock position, and I was tightening one of these screws over here, so it was locked back, but the breech wasn't on. So one way or another, it gave way. Maybe I bumped it or whatever. I had eyes and ears on, but I got a good blast of air that scared the crap out of me, from 2 feet away or whatever. So in the meantime, I've just been using this, and I drilled a 1/4-inch hole right here. So if it's even halfway cocked, I'm going to make one with a little keychain ring, like a grenade. If it's even halfway cocked back, I can slide this through, completely blocking the possibility of it firing while I'm working on it, or while my hands are, in between the mechanisms or whatever else. Once this is slid in, I release the full hammer tension on, 1/4-inch steel rod. That's it. It can't go anywhere. It can't fire no matter what the hell happens. Even if I drop it off a building, it won't fire because the spring tension alone, has this pinned with a lot of force. So that's like the biggest upgrade I've made in the last couple of days. It's just a guaranteed safety mechanism. You might say, well, why don't you trust your trigger? If the trigger was made properly, it shouldn't go off without bumping it. Well, that might be true, but somehow it went off yesterday or whatever day it was and scared the shit out of me, even though I had all my protective gear on. And when it does go off, it's thunderous. I mean, you just don't want to be around it when you're not when it's not intentionally going off. So I want to make it impossible. Maybe the trigger works perfectly every time, which it seems to, but you just, I don't know. There's just a lot of, there's a lot of unknown variables when you start making big bores, especially. Small bores, yeah, there's a lot of stupid unpredictability. But when you get into the big bores, just the forces you're dealing with are just astronomical. And, Murphy's Law, if something can go wrong, it probably will. So, what else? So that's about it. Cosmetics, hand grip, bracket for right here for pinning the breech down, which is another huge important safety factor, because if that fails, this will come flying up. So if your hands or face or whatever else are near it. Oh, I never got to show this actually, this little loading thing. That's another time I've been putting it in recently. I put the cross block in when I'm loading, because if you think about it, if this is out at the same time the ball is being pushed in, let's say I'm pushing the ball in and all of a sudden, boom, this goes off, the full force is going to be, or at least half the force is going to be coming out this way. So I put the pin in, then drop the ball, and you can see this just a probe and then a threaded section and then an O-ring. So I just drop the ball in there and I give it a quick flick, and it spins pretty well. And then the O-ring seals off the back of the breech, so there's no blow by or anything like that. But yeah, I would have preferred to keep it smaller, but it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed the rambling for whatever it's worth. Perhaps it wasn't as educational as some of my other rambling videos, but if you have a request for me to ramble about a specific topic in air guns, it doesn't matter what it is, except for like slugs and long range ballistics. I don't know much about them. It's not a hobby of mine. I'm more of a builder than a shooter. Like, I don't spend much time shooting any of this stuff, but I enjoy the process of making it work. But if there's anything from a mechanical perspective of the function of guns, if you have a specific topic, I can explain anything. Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you stay tuned for the chronograph and the rest of the build. All right.